We got something. We finally got something. We got something. If this is your first time here, it probably is. This is the first video I've ever put out. This is the Uncontested Show, podcast, YouTube channel, whatever have you. And tonight we're doing an instant reaction, not to the entire Monday Night Raw. That is Monday, March the 23rd. I just want to specifically talk about the main event. I want to talk about the final segment, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Usos, all that. And I got to be honest with you. I was talking to a group of my friends about this the other day. Which one of the main events is going to be night one? Which one is going to be night two? Is Roman CM Punk going to be night one and Cody and Randy is going to be night two, or is it going to be the other way around? I would say since the main events have begun, since we finally know who's going to be wrestling for each belt title, I had Cody Randy night two, Roman CM Punk night one. The reason is because historically, I think that the WWE WWF Heavyweight Championship should be the most important belt on the show. I don't care who's holding the title. I don't care who's the most popular. That belt should be. This is my cat, Tess. I think he agrees. You agree? Okay. You don't agree? Okay. So I think that historically, you have to have the belt that has been there since the beginning of time be the championship that is the last match on the last night of WrestleMania. So now, of the last handful, WrestleManias have been 2 nights. Historically, it's only been 1 night, but now that it's 2, I think the Sunday show should end with the title that Cody Rhodes holds. But then tonight happened. Tonight happened, and we finally got something with CM Punk and Roman Reigns. Now, I want to preface this by saying I like Roman Reigns. I like CM Punk. They're both all-time greats. I wasn't really feeling this feud, and I'm going to tell you why. I wasn't feeling the feud, and then we'll get into what happened tonight, but I kind of want to give you an idea of why I'm going to say what I'm going to say. I didn't really feel these last 4 to 5 weeks of this build up to WrestleMania, either night 1 or night 2. And the main reason is because I'm a big storyline guy. I like story. I like character arc. I like, I love pop culture. I love film. I love take me through a ride. And when it comes to Roman Reigns and CM Punk, personally, selfishly, as my cat leaves the room, I don't know how he opened the door, but he did. Selfishly, I want to lose myself into a story. And with CM Punk and Roman Reigns, I feel like CM Punk has been trying to tell a story and Roman Reigns wants to be Roman Reigns. My biggest issue with Roman Reigns as a character, since this whole tribal chief era has, begun since the 2020 till now, my biggest issue, you're back? I'm doing a show right now. Can I do my show? My biggest issue with Roman Reigns is once once he lost to Cody at WrestleMania 40, I was always curious to see what was he going to do on his own. Because if we're being honest, in my opinion, so if I'm being honest, I always felt that the mystique of Roman Reigns was a lot larger because of what was around him, right? So when you look at the title of the tribal chief, I think the tribal chief title, the name tribal chief mattered it mattered so much more because he held all the heavyweight belt. Like, he was the universal champion. And this was before they had the world title. They brought it back. This is when he had both the universal title and the world heavyweight championship, or the WWE title, at the same time. So the name tribal chief held more weight because not only was he the tribal chief, he was the number one person in the company, period. Now that he lost the title, the name tribal chief to me doesn't hold as much weight because the tribal chief really only matters for that family. Who cares if you're the tribal chief if you're not Samoan? It doesn't matter to you, right? So I was always curious to see, once he lost the title, once Paul Heyman left, once he was on his own, can Roman tell a story? Can he sell a story from start to finish? Can he grab a microphone and make me want to see more? And that's something that I never really saw. And that was something I was very hesitant to believe that he can actually do. And so the first handful of meetings with him and CM Punk, I think CM Punk won pretty much all of the one-on-ones back and forth, because my thing with Roman doesn't need to be a character that says a lot. He needs to be a character that actually says a lot without saying a lot, right? How can he do the most while saying the least? Because his weakness is his promo. That's the weakest link he has in his arsenal is his promo. And it's obvious when he's going up against CM Punk, because there are moments where when I'm watching Roman talk, it feels as if he's trying not to mess up. It's like he's memorizing. He memorized what he was going to say, and he's trying to make it come out smoothly. Okay. So when everything happened tonight, we had the back and forth before when CM Punk told Roman Reigns, I'm going to bury you next to your dead dad. The very next week, Roman doesn't show up. The Usos confront CM Punk. CM Punk calls him some young boys, and Jimmy socked Punk. The next week after that, Roman shows back up. Usos are like, yo, you got to go address this. And he's like, nah, I'm good. I'm the tribal chief. I don't need to do none of that. But y'all need an apology. I'm going to get an apology for y'all. Comes out, talks to Punk, never brings that up. And then Punk ends up socking Roman because Roman called Punk old. So now we're here, okay? At the very end, CM Punk's about to come out. Jimmy Uso's waiting for him in Gorilla. And Jimmy goes, basically, hey, man, watch what you say out there. Jay's tripping. And if I can park this for a second and talk about Jay, my favorite Jay Uso is Crash Out Jay. I think Jay Uso is at his best when he's losing his damn mind. When he's walking around. Honestly, who Braun Breaker wants to be, that's who Jay Uso is naturally. Just unhinged. So unhinged Jay Uso is what we're getting right now. And at the end of talking about, the finale of Raw, I'm going to give you what I think we're going, okay? Punk says, sweet. Music hits, huge pop. Boston loves him. Shout out to the Celtics. He goes out there and he's cutting his promo, basically saying all the stuff he said before, and addresses when Roman called him old. He said, you're right, I'm old. But this person did this when they were old. This person did this when they're old. I'm the best in the world because I'm old, and I'm the best and I'm old. All that comes down. Jey Uso comes down, interrupts CM Punk. They have it back and forth. And you can see CM Punk is noticing that Jay is unhinged, right? So he's antagonizing him. He's like, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? And Jay is like, huh? He's going back and forth, like just straight pissed. Jimmy comes out. He's trying to talk some sense into Jay. Jay's not having it. Jay's like, F this dude. He needs to apologize. He's still running his damn mouth. And then Punk says the thing that Jey Uso hates to hear, which is, you're acting kind of like Roman right now. So that whole thing transpires. Next thing you know, Tribal Chief comes out, walks to the ring, basically says, Jimmy, get your brother, not my cousin. Okay. He says, Jimmy, get your brother, get the hell out of my ring. Okay. While all this is happening, it starts to get a melee, right? So we get to a place where Jimmy and Jay are outside the ring. Roman Superman punches Punk. Roman's about to leave the ring. Jay goes to Roman and says, nah, finish this. You know what you got to do. And then it happens. The thing that I've been waiting to happen for a while, Roman Reigns snaps. Very rarely do we get to see Roman Reigns show any type of emotion. And this has been my biggest issue with this feud. It's very hard to buy into a story when one person is speaking from the heart and being emotional in CM Punk, and Roman Reigns is on the other end saying, well, I'm just going to smash him. It's like, what are we going to do for 6 weeks if this is what we're going to get? If Roman Reigns is not going to show any vulnerability, he's not going to show any weaknesses, he's not going to show any urgency, how are we going to build this WrestleMania match for all the way through April or to April if this is what we're going to get? Well, we ain't getting that anymore. Roman Reigns snaps. Jey Uso is basically telling Roman, go finish this. Roman beats the hell out of Punk, puts him through a table. Everyone's going crazy. The crowd is chanting one more time, one more time. Roman doesn't give it to him. Roman slow walks back. Show's over. Okay? This is what I've been waiting for. I've been waiting for the moment when Roman starts to show some type of emotion. In order for a character to grow, and to me, in order for Roman to be in that upper echelon, the Hogans, the Rocks, the Austins, the Flairs, the Shawn Michaels, he needs to be able to have a character or go through phases where he has weaknesses, where he snaps, where he has moments where his emotions get the best of him, right? He needs to have those moments that makes him feel human. I mean, this dude Punk talked about his dad being dead, and he hasn't even addressed it to the man that said it, right? And this entire time, the Usos are like, yo, dude, you need to check old boy because like he can't talk about not just our uncle, but your dad that way. And then all Roman says is, this is a message for everyone that's in the bloodline. You got until WrestleMania to handle y'all business. But in WrestleMania, hands off because he's mine. There hasn't been a moment where he has shown that, one, he cares, two, there's urgency, and three, that there's any sense of just humanistic attributes that he has up until tonight. And now, because of what I saw, and based on what I've been seeing from Cody and Randy, right, Tess? Tess, what do you think? And what I've seen from Cody and Randy, I think Roman and CM Punk as a, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Who do you think is going to headline night one and night two? You think Roman and Punk's going to be night two or night one? So as of tonight, I have Punk and Roman should main event night two, and Randy and Cody should be night one. But that's as of right now, okay? I am all the way in on Roman and CM Punk, especially after tonight. Now, here's my prediction as of right now where this is going to go, all right? If you watched when, who was talking in the back? I think it was LA Knight and the Usos. When you watched earlier in the night, when the Usos were talking to LA Knight, they were walking as they were talking, and all of a sudden they stopped. And right over their shoulder, there was a WWE truck with The Rock's face on it. Just the trailer with his face directly over one of the Usos' shoulders. I think it was Jay. But if you also saw in the corner, there was another WWE trailer, and it had Solo Sikoa's bloodline on that trailer. Not a coincidence. Okay? If you know anything about pro wrestling, if you know anything about WWE, nothing is wasted. Everything is intentional, or at least it should be. Okay. I think they're doing a little bit of a foreshadowing here. When I was mentioning earlier about Roman Reigns not really going through any character changes, one of the things that I thought that it would always be interesting, and I'm curious to know what you think about this. One of the things I thought would have been cool is if Roman went through a phase where he was losing, where he was starting to question his own authority, his own strength. Am I really the tribal chief? Like really go through a identity crisis. Because one of the things about Brock Lesnar that to me stopped him from being in that there's no relatability to his character. Like the average person cannot relate to that. Right? There's nothing really that he's done in his career. Maybe that small short phase where he was a babyface, like in the last few years, where he was kind of doing the comedy bit, but he's never really been relatable, right? But when you look at Austin, you look at Rock, you look at HBK, you look at Hogan, you look at Flair, like there are times where their vulnerability, their weaknesses, their strength, their storylines were very relatable. And you can see yourself in some way in those characters. But with Roman, it's not the case. He's always been a head above everybody. And that's great for storyline, for the power of the character. But it's very hard to have the maximum amount of care you can for a match if there's no emotion behind it. Yes, his matches are going to be popular because he's Roman Reigns. And yes, this match would have been must-watch TV because it's CM Punk and Roman Reigns, a match we've never seen. Cool. There's a lot of matches that we've seen. I'm talking. There's a lot of matches that we've seen where it was a great match because it's just two people we've never seen lock up before in a singles competition. But for WrestleMania, for a main event, there needs to be something else involved. There needs to be another layer, there needs to be some depth to it, like something where you can sink your teeth into and be like, oh God, like this is fucking great storytelling. And now I think we're there. But I bring that up because I refuse to believe that we're going to go through all of this over the last 6 years and we're never going to get Rock and Roman. There's no way in my mind can I conceive that we're never going to get Roman Reigns and The Rock. We have to, right? Because honestly, the only battle of the tribal chief is between those two. And I don't care about the Solo Sikoa Roman Reigns match at the first ever Raw on Netflix when The Rock comes down and puts the Olafala on around Roman's neck. I remember all that. But we all know at the end of the day, in our heart of hearts, if we're being honest, The Rock is the real tribal chief. Okay. Not only is he the most successful out of the two, not only is Roman getting into movies, the same field that The Rock created a lane for, but he's also literally Roman's boss. You know what I mean? Like he actually can fire Roman if he wanted to. So the fact that we haven't gotten that match and the fact that when they were together in the bloodline, there was still like there was a sense that there's no way both of these guys can coexist. And if we're also being honest, at that time in 2024, when The Rock and Roman Reigns were in the ring at the same time, clearly The Rock was on a different level. Clearly, right? So just from an aura standpoint, The Rock is the true tribal chief. So I bring that up because where I think we're going is I believe, and this might be a hot take, I believe we're going to a place where the entire bloodline turns on Roman and they side with The Rock. That's where I think we're going. I think this whole thing would crash out Jay and all this stuff is to gas Roman up and is to get him to a place where ultimately the family's going to turn on him and side with The Rock. I don't know if it's going to happen at WrestleMania. I don't know if The Rock is going to show up at WrestleMania. I hope he does. But I think where we're headed to a place where we're starting to turn that corner and we're finding our way back to The Rock. Now, also, you have the whole thing with Randy Orton and who's he talking to on the phone. Many people think it's The Rock. Some people say Chris Jericho. Some people say Kevin Owens. I'm just going to put The Rock in everything. He's talking to The Rock. Okay? He's talking to The Rock. But I don't believe for one single solitary second that them having that conversation in front of a trailer with The Rock's face, like dead center, that was just a coincidence. They could have had that conversation anywhere. However, with all that being said, if The Rock shows up or not, whether the bloodline turns on Roman or not, this main event has just went up a whole nother level. I think this match is going to be incredible. I think the story that they're telling now really has you guessing a lot. Because another thing that was interesting today was I've always felt that Roman's best work is as a heel. Because the difference between a heel and a babyface is you have to be able to talk as a babyface. You just have to. You have to, because you're doing the majority of the lifting of things, right? Roman's best work is when he doesn't have to say anything or doesn't have to say as much and his actions do all the talking. To see the facial expressions he had tonight, to see the rage he had, to see him pull the ponytail out and let his hair just hang, to see, the grit that he was showing. There was no Boston, Massachusetts. There was no acknowledgement. It was, let's fucking go. It's go time. And when Jay was basically gassing him up, just throwing gasoline on this fire, Roman went to not just tribal chief Roman Reigns. He went back to like the tribal chief. He went back to the OG bloodline days where he was an assassin, where he was a killer, where he was someone that just did not care. And the fact that he did that to a babyface while still being a babyface, I don't know if he's going through a heel turn. I don't know if they're setting him up to be for a double turn. I don't know if they're setting him up for the bloodline to turn on him. I don't know what they're doing. I have my prediction, which I just gave. But whatever they're doing, wherever they're going, the fact that Roman is going through this character roller coaster, I don't think you can go wrong with that. So this is all I want to talk about tonight. I just want to talk about the final segment of Raw, what led up to that, where I think it's going, and how excited I am for WrestleMania this year. For this match particularly, the whole card, I don't know. I don't really know what's going on. I don't really care about a lot of the matches besides the main event and you know, and a few other things. Brock and Oba for sure, which I think Brock should win. I don't think Brock should lose, at least this time around. But yeah, man, they still have some time, but I just wanted to specifically talk about this main event and the end of Raw tonight and where I think this feud is going. I would not be shocked if this match turned into some type of chicanery, whether it's a I quit match or no holds barred or some type of a street fight, because I don't think whomever wins this match is going to win clean. And I'm going to go on record and say this. My gut is telling me somebody in this match is going to turn. And I know I've said that, my prediction was Rock was going to come in and everyone was going to turn on Roman. But I also wouldn't be shocked if Punk turns either. And I'm going to end with this, okay? I know I'm saying a lot right now. This is my first episode. I got a lot to say. But I'm in with this. I think one thing that would be really, really cool is if somehow we get to CM Punk being the head of the division. I don't know how we'll get there, but I think it would be interesting if the whole thing with the bloodline doesn't become a thing and Braun Breaker comes back, spears Roman Reigns, helps CM Punk win, then they join the video, something like that. Okay, take it. That's for another episode. But I just want to talk about tonight where I think it's going, why I think this feud can be really, really special. And to be honest, based on the WrestleMania of last year, we really, really deserve whatever night two it is. Um, we deserve the best possible match and the best possible feud possible because last year was a huge letdown. And this is why I think The Rock is going to be there because, to be honest, he owes us one. All right. Um, but that's it for the Uncontested podcast, Uncontested show, Uncontested YouTube channel, whatever the case is. Hope you enjoyed it. I can't wait to do more of these. If this spoke to you, if you liked it, if you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe, hit the follow, leave a comment, leave a review, share this with a friend. And yeah, WrestleMania is right around the corner. And my birthday is April 17th. So it's just like double whammy. So what do you think, Tess? Huh? You want to tell everyone bye? Huh? Okay.